Ukraine already is introducing the military state. We are starting mobilization of the reservists. Ukrainian army is not the army of 2014, when it was very much feeble, disorganized. After 8 years, situation drastically and cardinally changed. Ukrainian people are not panicking. We are ready to defend our territory, territorial integrity, to defend our towns and cities. And this information on the first casualties among invading troops is confirmation of this fact. This aggression, it was not predicted by anyone. Sober-minded people could not expect it. Up to the last moment, the world was hoping for the peaceful solution. Up to the last moment, our president was repeatedly asking for bilateral negotiations with Russia. No response.
No.
Now we can see the clash of democratic country. Ukraine is like India, democratic country, and totalitarian regime. Now I am ambassador to India. Of course, the position and the task of every ambassador is to make the position of the country of his stay more favorable to our case. The special case is the India. You know that India is United Nations Security Council non-permanent member. India is very influential global player. I am dealing with India from my young student years. And I know a lot about the history of your diplomacy. You had such bright guys like Chanakya, or otherwise he is called Kautilya, approximately 2,400 years back, when on the major part of Europe there was no civilization, and even those days you had qualified diplomacy. Let's go into your mythological stories. Just remember Mahabharata, which according to some reports the war happened in 3102nd year before Christ. Even before Mahabharata war, there were active attempts of solving this conflict by peaceful means. Unfortunately, in Mahabharata case, it was not so successful, but I am hoping that in our case, it should be much more successful. Don't forget that India, for many years, was and still the leader of non-alignment movement. Non-alignment movement was created in the time of the Cold War just to prevent world tensions. It was based on the principles of peace. Don't forget that India was among architects of the world famous 5 principles, Panchashila. That's why at the present moment we are asking, pleading the support of India. India is the powerful global player. And in case of aggression of totalitarian regime against democratic state, India should fully assume its global role. Modi ji is one of the most powerful and respected leaders of the world. You know that you have special, privileged, strategic partnership with Russia. I don't know how many world leaders Putin may listen to, but the status of Modi ji makes me hopeful that in case of his strong voice, Putin at least should think over. We are expecting for much more favorable attitude of the Indian government in this crisis situation. It's the moment of truth, moment of destiny. I am following all the reports on the site of your ministry, and the latest advisory to your citizens in Ukraine was just not to go out, not to go to Kiev, and recommendations and the statement of your Ministry of External Affairs was that India is closely following development of events. We are deeply dissatisfied with this position. What does it mean, closely following or more closely? Now 10, 15 people are killed. When hundreds or thousands will be killed, in this case, what will happen? Is following more closely. We are waiting, we are asking, we are pleading for the strong voice of India. In this case, I think that in this case, your Prime Minister can address Mr. Putin, he can address our President. Many times in the history, India played peacekeeping role. You are among the first nations from the point of view of amount of peacekeepers, even of military casualties during peacekeeping operations. That's why peace-loving nation of India, we are asking for your strong voice to stop this war. I don't know what will happen in 1 hour, in 2 hours, after 1 day. Situation may get out of control. And in this case, it will not be, as some people are claiming, regional conflict. It will be the conflict involving the whole world. Already, approximately 70 countries, geographically starting from Guatemala and ending with Japan, already supported of Ukraine, expressed their support of Ukraine. We are most hopeful that the amount of these countries, including friendly ones, which every time we consider India, will further increase. Situation drastically changed. At present, we are not satisfied with protocol statements. Deep disappointment, deep concern, it matters nothing. First of all, we need absolute support from our friendly countries, from the whole world, just to stop this war. Ukraine is peaceful nation. We are ready to fight, but peace is the best solution. We are asking every our partner about some kind of support, of assistance. I am not saying, I cannot dictate the terms, which words should be, which practical actions. Maybe oral, verbal condemnation, maybe some sanctions, maybe humanitarian or military assistance, whatever you like, maybe cancellation of bilateral events with Russia. It's not the proper time to hold some bilateral events. There is now bilateral event is held only by your neighbor there. And again, another issue. It's not connected directly to me. It's connected to you. It's connected to Indians. Ukraine has got one of the biggest amounts of Indian students, more than 20,000. The well-being and safety of your citizens, it's our task, but first of all, it's task of your government. Immediately, after the request of the Indian side, we abolished all the quotas on the seats, on the flights, and everything. We tried to help. Now, unfortunately, airspace of Ukraine is closed. I spoke directly to many Indians residing in Ukraine. They like Ukraine. The majority of them don't want to be evacuated. They are praying to God for some peaceful solution. And in this case, again, not only for the sake of Ukraine, but even for the sake of your citizens, all of us, including the powerful world leader, Modi ji, they should exert every pressure, every effort to stop this aggression. Because these precise military strikes, they are never choosing exact place. Any one of us can be the target. That's why we are seeking your support, we are asking for your support, and we are pleading for your support. India is the global player, and its voice was every time heard in the world and should be heard now. That's all.
So can you say that in Hindi as well, the Prime Ministerial part, what do you expect from India?
क्या आशा है आपका मोदी जी से?
What is my asha? As I mentioned, I am repeating myself for the third time.
Hindi में बोलिए.
One of the most powerful and respected world leaders is Modi ji. We are expecting that Modi ji will try to influence somehow Putin. We shall be also most grateful to the Modi ji for some words of support and maybe practical assistance to Ukraine.
So your request for Indian mediation, which you have said quite openly, you want India to mediate in this conflict. Have you taken it up with our Ministry of External Affairs?
I already conveyed
Yes.
my proposals that India should be much more active in this case, taking into account the special, privileged, strategic partnership between India and Russia. There are very few nations in the world which can influence Russia. India is among them.
What response did you get from the RME?
Under consideration.
So you briefed today, sir?
Today,
At what level did you brief the Indian side on the situation, ongoing situation?
rather high level in the foreign ministry. everyone who is concerned. I am briefing them on the development of situation, and I am asking them for the Indian government to be much more active in this case.
And you also conveyed to them that you were deeply dissatisfied, as you said, with the Indian stance so far. You conveyed to them that you were deeply dissatisfied. Am I right? Am I to take it? Did you
Yes.
just say?
I expressed my dissatisfaction
Okay.
with this position,
Okay.
and you saw the latest statement
Okay.
of Indian United Nations permanent representative that the war started, and he asked both sides to avoid escalation. We were attacked, and both sides, especially Ukrainian side in this case, is asked, please avoid escalation when we are defending our territory.